What's going on, guys? This is the Xerjoff here today with a new video. Today I wanted to bring to you what's going to be a recurring series for me. This is the highlights of my summer. So the goal for these highlights of the season videos I want to do is I want to show you what my top 3 most complimented fragrances from this past season are, what my 3 most worn as far as days fragrances are, and what my top 3 most enjoyed personal fragrances are. Then we're going to count up the points. Obviously, if something gets in first place, it gets more points than what gets in third place. Anyway, we're going to count up the points at the end and see what the top 3 fragrances for my summer were, and hopefully give you guys an awesome idea for what to wear, what to get your nose on, and try and kill it next summer. First off, I know a lot of people care about compliments, so we're going to talk about compliments first, guys. The top 3 most complimented fragrances for me this past summer. Well, at number 3, we've got a personal favorite of mine. It's just a decant. It needs to be a bottle. One of my favorite designers right now. It's from Prada, and it's L'Homme. So this is the Ultra Clean Sexy Fabric Softener. So good, so easy to wear, gets noticed. Not all the time, but I mean, if somebody gets close enough to you to smell this stuff, game over. It's so good. Guys, so that was Prada L'Homme in the 3 spot for my top complimented for this summer. Now on to the number 2. The number 2 is actually a tie. It's a 3-way tie. Honestly, these 3 all did it really well. There's a designer and 2 niche. I had to include them here because they all did roughly about the same as far as compliments go. So these 3 fragrances that are tied for number 2 most complimented for me this summer. Well, first off, we've got from Xerjoff, we've got Nio. Nio, it's a mix for me between Neroli Portofino, Green Irish Tweed, and Bergamot 22. It's the juiciest, most awesome, fresh bergamot. It's got that green vibe from Green Irish Tweed, and it's got that soapy bit from Neroli Portofino. So Nio's been killing it for me. Very expensive, most expensive fragrance I'm going to talk about here, but really, man, it totally earned this spot. It's been killing it for me this summer. Next up, the second niche is, oh, you just saw the bottle. Well, it's from Creed. It's Millésime Imperial. This one, again, musky watermelons and a salty sea breeze. It's so easy to wear. It's so easy to like. Killer with the girls. It's so good. You're gonna get noticed, most likely, as far as summer fragrances go. It is light, but you know, if they smell you, chances are they're gonna compliment because this smells so good. The third fragrance that is tied for number 2 most complimented for my summer this year, guys, is from Jean-Paul Gaultier. You know what it is. It's Le Male Au Fraiche. I've got the Popeye. Superman, same thing. Kitted up version of the original Le Male, bubblegum added to that vanilla fresh mint vibe. So good, so easy to get compliments, so easy to wear, very sexy. It's hard not to like, and man, it just gets you noticed. There's nothing more I can say about Popeye. That was my 3-way tie at the number 2 spot for most complimented fragrances for this year between Nio, Millésime Imperial, and Le Male Au Fraiche, Popeye. So guys, what made number 1? Well, you know, I don't even have a bottle of this stuff. I think I ran out of my decant. You know, this one, this is one that I don't really like, but I wore it for the sake of trying to put together information for review. I wore it because for a few days it was all I had access to, and frankly I knew it worked. Boy, did it work. Before I keep rambling, at number 1 most complimented this year, guys, from Christian Dior, it's Sauvage. So, like I said, it's a little bit too heavy for me, but there was one weekend where I only wore Sauvage, and like, so many compliments, all of the days, all of the scenarios, daytime, nighttime, didn't matter. I wore it a few more times. Man, it's not fair. I wish I liked it more, but it's just a little bit too heavy for me. But man, Dior Sauvage, you want to get noticed. It works. So that was Dior Sauvage at number 1 most complimented for the summer, guys. So now we're moving on to the most worn for this summer, guys. This is as simple as what actually saw the most use from me this summer. That's the only categories, that's the only criteria. So let's start it off at number 3, another fragrance that I just talked about. It is from Jean-Paul Gaultier, and it's Le Male Au Fraiche. I was reaching for this quite a bit this summer. I personally found I like this a little more for this past spring, but still Le Malo Fraiche has been killing it for me this summer. Like I said, it's a compliment getter, it's sexy, it's great. I wore a lot of this stuff this summer. The number 2 spot for my most worn this year, again, another tie. This is a tie between my signature summer scent, Millésime Imperial, and my favorite work scent, Prada L'Homme. Now, the reason I wore Millésime Imperial is because it works in the summer, pretty much only in the summer. I do wear it year-round, but the summer is really the time to enjoy this one. It fits. It just fits so well for the summer. It gets compliments. One of my favorite niche for the summer for sure, Prada L'Homme. I've been wearing this to work as much as I can with my little decant. I'm trying to ration it now, or maybe it would have made number 1. But anyway, this is a tie for my my most worn fragrances this summer, guys. At number 2, Creed Millésime Imperial and Prada L'Homme. So my number 1 most worn fragrance this summer, guys. I just wore this stuff because it works. It's cheap. It's good. Man, anyway, at number 1 from Mugler, it's Mugler Cologne. So this is definitely my number 1 most worn this summer. It's just a clean, nice soap. I have done a review of this one if you want to check that out for more information, but it's just a clean, easy to wear soap. If I don't know what to wear, I go to Mugler Cologne, honestly, because while I do like Prada L'Homme more, I don't have a bottle, and like I said, I've been trying to ration the decant, so Mugler Cologne's still an amazing soapy fragrance, guys. Last category, guys, most enjoyed for this summer, the ones that I personally really loved wearing. I couldn't wait to put any of these on. Let's kick it off with one that's been getting a lot of talk so far in this list. It is that little decant that could. It is from Prada and it's L'Homme. So I really love this stuff, guys. The only reason it doesn't make it a little higher is because I love the others more. And I do find that Prada L'Homme works best as a work scent, while the others are a tad more fitting for, say, dates or nights out. But I still really enjoyed wearing Prada L'Homme this year, guys. Highly recommend this one. Can't say that enough. It's so good. It's totally worth the hype. Prada L'Homme at number 3. The number 2 spot for my most enjoyed this summer, guys. This is one that's really hard to wear for me, but it's such a favorite of mine for the summer. I only break it out a couple times every year, but I enjoyed this one like crazy when I did. This one's from Creed, and it's Virgin Island water. So Virgin Island water is rum, coconut, and lime. Very much smells like a pina colada. It's so good. It's very delicious. Not a heavy compliment getter by any means. This one is for me purely. It's so good. It's so delicious. This could easily be number 1, but number 1's pretty good too. So that's Creed's Virgin Island water at number 2 for my most enjoyed for this year, guys. So we got another tie at number 1 for most enjoyed for this summer, guys. These are both really good. I've talked about them before. I think they've been in just about every category. Anyway, we've got Le Malo Fraiche and Xerjoff Nio. These are definitely my most enjoyed for the summer. They're so good. They're so good. This reminds me of an Italian summer. Not that I've ever been to Italy, but I can pretend. And this is just, frankly, it's the original Le Mal DNA perfected for me. This is just perfect for my summers. Like I've said, I already talked about the scent. I already talked about where to wear these. So good. Definitely my number 1 most enjoyed fragrances this summer. So guys, all things considered, that's it. Those are my most complimented, those are my most worn, and those are my most enjoyed personally for this summer. Now, what are the top 3? So we tally it all up, and we've got, in 3rd place, Prada L'Homme. Prada L'Homme, my favorite work scent now. I need a bottle. It's so good. Man, I'm kind of shocked it only made 3rd, but when you look at the next 2 fragrances, it kind of makes sense anyway. So Prada L'Homme, number 3 highlight of my summer this year. So at number 2 for the highlights of my summer is the only niche that made the top 3. It's clearly the winner when you look at the categories there, guys. It's Xerjoff Nio at number 2, guys. This is my favorite Xerjoff. I've done a review on this one as well if you want to check that out. This stuff is so good. It's, in my opinion, the best Xerjoff, like I said. From what I've seen, it's the best Xerjoff that's appreciated by the ladies as well. It's got everything for everybody except the price, but other than that, it's got everything for everybody. It's so good. Xerjoff Nio at number 2 for the highlights of my summer. So in the number 1 spot, you know, if I made this list at the start of the summer, I probably would have assumed it would be Creed Millesime Imperial. Millesime Imperial didn't even make the 3 spot. If you add up the scores, it should be in a tie at number 3, but frankly, I liked Prada more this year, man. And when you look at my number 1 spot, it's got everything. It's sexy, it's easy to wear, it's not super expensive, it is a designer fragrance, it's the one that's made all of these lists. It's Le Malo Fraiche at my number 1 spot, guys, for the highlights of my summer this year. This is, in my opinion, the best hyped up fragrance right now of all the stuff that gets like talk, you know, stuff that every reviewer just hypes up and blows out of proportion. Some of that stuff I don't really get into, but Prada L'Homme is up there as well. This is my favorite, personally, of the hyped up designers right now. Totally worth every bit of praise it gets. Everything that everybody says about this is pretty much true. Heavy compliments, easy to wear, very sexy. It's just great. So that's Jean-Paul Gaultier, Le Malo Fraiche is the number 1 highlight of my summer this year, guys. Right, guys, that's been my video. That's been my highlights from this past summer. Let me know down in the comments, what are your highlights from your past summer? You know, I don't expect you to add up all the categories like I did, but just what are your superstars from the summer, I guess, and what did you think of mine? This has been the Xertrepreneur. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. There's new content coming out all the time. There's seasonal highlights like this, fragrance hauls, fragrance reviews, fragrance top lists, first impressions, unboxings, the works. Also, guys, if you had fun watching this particular video, please toss me a thumbs up down below. That would be amazing. Also, if seeing more of me appeals to you and you'd like to see what fragrances I'm wearing day to day, what do I do? I encourage you to check me out on Snapchat. My name is in the description down below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a wicked summer. I hope you have a great fall. And I hope to see you in the next video. Guys, talk to you later. Have a good one.